Good afternoon. My name is Ruben Murillo. I'm the president of the Nevada State Education Association. And first of all, I want to say that we do appreciate working with labor, especially with the AFL-CIO and all the partners that we've been working with together on education issues and also labor issues. This is my last legislative session. I am turned out as president, and so next legislative session you'll have somebody new representing NSCA. But again, thank you to our labor partners who have come to support us in our education bills, and also we have been there to support labor on labor issues also. We were proud to support and testify in legislation that dealt with prevailing wage, the minimum wage, and state collective bargaining. We've gone to the table to support our labor brothers and sisters when asked, and even when not asked, we've gone out and supported them. But also, it's vice versa. When we had our classroom size reduction bill, AB 304, with one of our members, Brittany Miller, she asked for labor to step up, and they did. The stories that were coming from from the people who testified were really from the heart, because as culinary usually says, we know that's true for all labor, your children are in our schools. What makes our schools better makes your families better. We also are fighting charter schools. And then when I say fighting charter schools are here to stay. It's kind of our version of privatization. When charter schools spring up, they're not usually unionized. I know that there have been some states that have been working towards that. We did try that. The challenge is you have 50 different schools and 50 different contracts. So we're still looking at holding charter schools accountable, because they do use public monies, but they don't have to follow the same rules as public schools. They're given a lot more latitude, they're given a lot more freedom in terms of what they can do. They can hire teachers and support professionals who are not licensed, and they usually end up staying there for 1 or 2 years, and they come into the public school system. Let's see what else. So teachers' evaluations. We've been fighting the Teachers and Leaders Council and also the Department of Education in terms of teacher evaluations. For teacher evaluations, 40% of a teacher's evaluation now are based on student performances on tests, or the learning objectives that are required of teachers to fill out. The Teachers and Leaders Council is recommending that it goes down to 20%, and we're suggesting that it go down to, actually, our members who we've surveyed would prefer 0 to 10% or 70%, but we're fighting with the Teachers and Leaders Council. Looks like we might be able to get it to 15%. And then also we want to thank labor for your support in terms of fighting vouchers. Because all vouchers do is they take money out of public schools and take them to private schools. Well, that issue has been settled for the most part. And I remember in one of the past conventions, labor took a unanimous support in one of the resolutions to oppose vouchers. But we have what's called opportunity scholarships, which is vouchers light. And what they do is they take money, businesses are able to give money for tax credits to certain organizations that will then be siphoned off to private schools for children to attend. And again, any money that's taken out of public schools is money that impacts our students in terms of increased class sizes, less resources for students, including textbooks and materials. Also, we're working really hard for our support professionals, not classified, we have some teachers who believe that, and to be honest with you, we have a class system. We have teachers who are certified, but then we have our support professionals who are the backbone of our public schools. And certain education groups are not supportive of giving our support professionals equal opportunity that teachers get when it comes to salary, when it comes to benefits. And we're fighting to make sure that all of our education employees, whether they're teachers or support professionals, get the same opportunities when it comes to guarantees by the governor for salary increases, or including them in terms of job safety and job protection. And I guess the big thing that we're fighting is funding. And Rusty just told you about the proposal from Senator Ratty in terms of helping to raise funds for public education. And we all recognize that the future of public education is predicated on how much of an increase in funding that we get. The commerce tax that was passed at the last legislative session only allowed us to become back to even levels from what the governor Sandoval cut back in 2015, or I guess it was earlier than that, 13, where he cut $800 million out of the school budget. Commerce tax brought $800 million back, but that was again pre-recession levels. And we are fighting for school, the infrastructures for school, to make sure that the growth that's happening in Las Vegas now and in Reno across the state, we keep up with public education in terms of building schools and classrooms and providing the resources for our educators to be able to provide a public education. But we don't know what that funding is going to look like. We've been waiting for, out of the Senate Education Committee, for Senator Dennis to roll out his plan for funding, but nobody's seen it yet. We have no idea what it's going to look like, what input we'll be able to provide. We've been putting a lot of pressure on them to let us know, because something so important to us needs to be discussed early before, besides just giving it to us and saying, here's the package, take it and deal with it. Mm-hmm. The funding, again, leads to what we've had, and I think most of you have seen across the nation, the Red for Ed movement. The Red for Ed movement is a movement that has started in West Virginia, worked its way through Kentucky, Oklahoma, Colorado, North Carolina, and ended up statewide in Arizona, where teachers and support professionals both work together, again, with important community allies, the school boards of trustees of the state, superintendents of the state, working together to make sure that any kind of a job action was completed, but it was only done so successfully when you have the support of your local, your state association, and your national association. I was able to go to UTLA in Los Angeles and help out when they had their strike, and also in Denver. One of my friends, a member, she was a strike captain at her school, and she said, can you come up and help me? I've never done this before. And I've never been in a strike because in Nevada, since I've been president, even at the local level, our teachers have never gone on strike. But it was an eye-opening experience to see what the power of unions and communities and the education communities can make in terms of bringing about change. If right-to-work states like West Virginia, Arizona, Oklahoma, and Kentucky can do it, then we can do it here. We have to make sure that as we go forward with this Red to Ed movement, that it not only includes our teacher and support professional unions, but it has to include our labor unions. Because if teachers can do it in West Virginia, think about what we can do when we work together here in Nevada or in other states. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to work together. Rusty, thank you for the invitation. I know that we would love to be a member of the AFL-CIO, and we're working towards that. We'd love to be able to participate in what we're working towards collectively. I know that we have great relationships that we have traditionally in the past worked the last couple of 3 years. Thank you to SEIU, thank you to the Culinary Union, IBEW. There are certain organizations at ASME that we have worked together with, and we want to expand that scope. Because again, working together, we can accomplish a lot. And so again, thank you for your support on our bills, and we are there to support you on labor bills also. Thank you very much.